Hey guys, welcome to a brand new episode of After the Match, the show where we analyse and discuss matches and our opinions on the chosen match. This episode we'll be discussing the Liverpool-Arsenal match that resulted in a 2-2 draw. Interesting match, a lot of hype around the match, and I don't think either team played particularly well. I thought both teams, we didn't expect them to be amazing, but I felt like they could have brought more to the table. What do you think, Andrew?
Well, yeah, I mean, it was an odd match, wasn't it, with the how defensive it was and how, from an Arsenal perspective, how Liverpool did go for it, just like it was in the 5-1 last season. But with Liverpool, again, like me and you personally have both pointed out a lot this season, without Suarez and Sturridge, they didn't have that killer instinct that they did last season.
No, definitely.
Which was very clear to see from that match.
Yeah, definitely, I agree. A lot of I feel the goals were weak as well. I thought the Giroud goal was finished really well, but the Debuchy and Coutinho one, they could have been avoidable. You know, that they're goals that happen because the defence isn't doing its job, and also a makeshift defence on both teams, I feel.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, any Liverpool fan must be feeling sick when they watch the Debuchy goal. Yeah. Because, I mean, you just don't. That should not be going in, should it? It was Skrtel marking him, wasn't it?
Yeah, Skrtel was marking him, and it was just poor defending.
Yeah, he should not be getting out jumped by Debuchy.
No, and it's also setting up for that goal as well. You know, the team that are defending, they're always like, it feels like they're always on the back foot. You know, the attacker should be running at the defence, and the defence should be set up. It always looked on both sides that the defence sort of was a bit panicky whenever the attack was being set up, and I felt like you watch a different Arsenal team than we've seen before, because, you know, when you look at Arsenal, you think a good passing team, you know, good play, you know, they had really low possession, and that's not what you normally see from Arsenal.
Well, we were speaking off air, and I think you're spot on with what you were saying. That Wenger just said, I'm not going to lose this game, if you see what I mean. It was the fact of, I came here last season, I got beat 5-1, and I'm just going to defend. I don't care if I don't have that much possession. Yeah. I'm just going to make sure that we don't, it's not embarrassing, and we actually try and get up with a point at least or something. But then again, though, I mean, like what we're saying, that shouldn't be the mentality, should it?
No. And definitely, considering what we've seen from, like, Arsenal, you know, in the past, you know, we've seen a very sort of counter-attacking possession team, and always sort of like they played a beautiful football. And maybe it's come to Arsene Wenger's attention from the fans. I'm sure he listens to what the fans say. Maybe he's trying to win ugly. Maybe he's thinking, well, watch me, I'm trying to win ugly, and it's not working, maybe.
Well, yeah, I mean, that if Skrtel doesn't score that goal, I've got nothing but praise out of what we're saying. Like, if Arsenal had won that game, all of us would be saying it was one of the worst performances we've ever seen, but they took the 3 points.
And also, I feel like a lot of fans would be thinking, you know what, he brought on the defensive players, he set up shop, you know, he done the right thing. But then a few moments later, you know, a set-piece goal, and, you know, it's down in the dumps again. And also, I feel that this was a sort of game for both teams that needed to be won. You know, they needed that morale boost going into Christmas. And I feel like it's probably going to hurt Arsenal fans a lot more than Liverpool fans at the moment, for the fact that Arsenal were leading, not in the positions that they're both in, because they're both not doing particularly great in the league. And also, with Liverpool, you know, they can always put it down to Sturridge being out and Suarez leaving. But Arsenal, you know, they've got a few players back now, you know. So, okay, you could probably say Ozil, but then would Ozil make a difference in that match?
Not in that one. Just going off how it was played, I think. Yeah. Like I say, I mean, he would have actually been a hindrance, I think, because if you take, let's just say Ozil would have took the place of Cazorla. Look how well defensively Cazorla was playing. Yeah. And Ozil would not have done that job at all. He would have been way up the field, waiting for the ball and not chasing back. So I don't think they're the type of games he plays in. But there's another point you brought up then, which is quite interesting, was the the backlash I've heard from the fans who were at the game saying, "Oh, he went too defensive against 10 men." But it's like, but what? I can understand the point of saying, let's go attacking. There's 10 men. They've only got 10 men with a few minutes to go. But imagine Wenger had bombed 4 people forward and Arsenal conceded on the counter-attack. It would have been an uproar just then as well.
But I also think that, you know, it's unless Arsenal win that match, you know, in the end, I don't think he's going to be praised for anything. Because I think at the moment, there's so many people that are like, against him and for him, that there's always going to be people, we want him out, he should have brought on defensive players, we didn't need attacking, stuff like that. And that's always going to be there. So you're always going to have people that aren't going to agree with him anyway, and especially after the start they've had, because you've seen them even when they've won matches. Oh yeah, but next week we're going to lose, so it don't matter. And it's just like, well, what more do you want? You've just won. But this is positive. It's positive in the way that they could have lost, but they didn't. You've got to look at it like that. Okay, it's frustrating. You want your team to win all the time, but in this league, it's difficult for Chelsea to win every time, and they say that we have the best team, in the Premier League at the moment, but we still struggle to beat teams every now and then. It happens, and Liverpool aren't your sort of run-of-the-mill poor team, so you've got to look at the positives.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like we're saying. I mean, it's only one. If Arsenal win that match, don't concede that last goal, think how poor they played. There is just so much praise in that, and it's like, I think the problem is because it happens a lot with every football team and the supporters. When you concede in the last minute, the positives are very hard to see. Yeah,
I did just say that I think it would have hurt Arsenal a lot more than it hurt Liverpool, because you don't want to see your team sort of drop away, especially in such a short amount of time. And a lot of fans will say 9 minutes added time, it's predictable, but it's not predictable. You never know that's going to happen. I'm sure that's why Wenger put so many defenders on, because he thought pack the defence for the last few minutes and this would happen, but stop this happening. But it happens in football, and unfortunately Arsenal are going through a rough time at the moment. But what do you think could have been done to stop Liverpool conceding? What decision would you have made to sort of combat that?
What, to stop Liverpool conceding goals?
To stop Arsenal conceding that final goal.
Scrap zonal marking. Scrap it from ever reaching football again. I cannot stand zonal marking. The force of gravity disproves zonal marking. When something runs at you and jumps, it will always beat you if you're stood still. That is the fact. It could have been anybody, especially when it's Martin Skrtel. When something runs at you that's tougher than you and jumps before you even get to run because you're stood still. I just hate the idea of zonal marking. I don't understand why people even try. When it works, but you need some real defensive-minded players, which Arsenal do not have, to do zonal marking. I just wanted to ask, what form of defending does Chelsea do at set pieces? Because they've got quite a strong defence.
I think it all depends on the opponents. I think if the opponents are sort of like a team that are like a mixed attacking team, then, not very tall players, but could affect, then probably zonal marking. I think if you're up against a team like Man United, if you're up against a team like Stoke, then it's probably man marking. But I don't know. I'm not too into the sort of training regime, but you can definitely see teams who concede from corners a lot, and I think Arsenal are one of them. But with their inability to sort of Per Mertesacker sort of challenge, and I mean, I was shocked. By Per Mertesacker yesterday. I thought I've never particularly rated him, but I gave him props for last season because him and Koscielny, they formed a good partnership, and when you got a good partnership, things sort of go for you, and when you have a good sort of set up defence which you consistently play with, then you learn about each other more. But obviously, he doesn't have Koscielny, he doesn't have the players he plays week in, week out with last season playing. So I'm going to give him that. But I am shocked from what I saw of him yesterday.
Oh yeah, this is the idea of a World Cup winning hangover. Definitely, I think
you could definitely see it with Andre Schürrle.
Oh yeah, exactly. I mean, I think a few of them must have had it because, I mean, Mertesacker, since he's come back, there was the goal against Hull at home, which it was his fault as well. And
but you look at the size of him and you think, how can you get bullied off the ball like that? It's like the size of you, and what's worse is that, I don't know how true this is, but I heard people talking about he was pointing towards Martin Skrtel.
Four of them were, yeah.
Yeah, and they were pointing, and it's like Mertesacker, you're the tallest player on the pitch. Mark the person who last season probably scored the most corner headers, considering Liverpool were very attacking. but you mark that person, do your job, and then you've won the game. Nothing's going to happen after that corner. And game over, Arsenal is props for the fans. They go in, have a happy Christmas, end of, and then start again New Year. But, it just showed the inexperience of some of these players. And I don't know what possessed Wenger to put Callum Chambers right back and Debussy centre back. Switch them around. Chambers has played better centre back. It's been proven.
I understand that point. I definitely see what you're saying. My only thing is I think Wenger was worried because of the Swansea match a few weeks ago where he was at right back.
Yeah.
He played all completely destroyed. I think he wanted him in that position, and I don't think at the minute he's got the biggest belief in him as centre-back. And I think had he played Chambers at centre-back and he just got destroyed, I think that would have absolutely destroyed his confidence. And personally, I think Debussy did actually do a good job at centre back.
Oh no, I thought he did, but I feel like you're not going to play Debussy there for consistent amount of time. So put Debussy in right back and sort of build up, because Debussy's not going to play there when Koscielny's back, is he?
Yeah.
So put Chambers in there. He's done okay at parts this season. But I don't think anyone's going to be jumping on his back, sort of blaming him as much, because they realise this is his first season playing week in, week out, pretty much. So, you've got to give the boy time, and I think Arsenal's probably one of the best teams to do that. I don't think he's going to get thrown out of the team for having a bad performance, because I don't think that's what Arsene Wenger's about. So I feel like maybe Chambers in centre-back would have been a better option. But also, what was your opinion on having that bench? They had Walcott waiting, and they had Joel Campbell. Do you think they could have maybe brought them on at an earlier time? Because we saw that Sanchez wasn't having the game of his life, and maybe he could have made more of an impact. And obviously, someone we've talked about on the chat show, Welbeck, didn't have the best match either.
Yeah, I think it is a real tough one with the Walcott situation, because I think Wenger's just so worried about him being injured again. So I think in the position he was, I can understand why he didn't bring Walcott on. By the fact of 2-1, and it was 2-1 at the time, and it was well, maybe if I leave it. But I mean, there's no excuses why Podolski and Joel Campbell couldn't have come on earlier. I don't see, because it's like what we were saying before. It's fast legs who are going to track back and get the ball from Liverpool when they're trying to attack, and it gives extra legs to the defenders to then get it up the other end of the field. I just didn't understand that one.
Yeah, and also, what did you think of? We're talking about the Arsenal team, obviously, but what did you think of the Liverpool team? What did you think of their overall play?
I thought, I think they played really well. I think Liverpool fans should be quite happy with it. But I think, like I said at the start of the show, it's going to be that frustration for Liverpool fans that 8-9 months on from having Suarez score so many goals, that it's the frustration that they're not scoring the goals while they've got the possession and everything. I think is going to be a big catalyst to Liverpool's conceding a lot of goals this season and losing matches. Will be the fact that they haven't scored when they're on top of teams.
Yeah, and also, I tweeted out yesterday, I don't know if you saw, Steven Gerrard, I actually felt quite sorry for him. He was falling over the pitch at points, and at parts it was funny. At last season, we all had a giggle, but I'm actually starting to feel quite sorry for him, because it seems like he has hit rock bottom in the last, let's say 4 or 5 months, and he just really can't get out of it. And even at points yesterday, I just thought, wow, maybe it's time to call it a day at the end of the season, because it's not getting any easier for him. And Suarez was the last opportunity he had to sort of maybe win anything, and they failed with that. So, I don't think he will retire. I think he still probably thinks he's got a couple more years left, but I think maybe for his own sort of sanity, it might be worthwhile to consider it.
Yeah, definitely. It is that thing like what you're saying. It's the fact that it's not good for him to stay at Liverpool if it's going to carry on like this.
No,
because like I say, I mean, we're joking about with all the slipping and everything. Then you kind of do look at it as just a football fan
Yeah,
and you think, wow, what's happened here?
Yeah, because he seems to have really hit a down spiral, and it's not good to see sort of any footballer like that, considering, we all know, as much as I don't want to, we all got to sort of respect Gerrard for what he's done in football. But, it seems like he's hit a really, tough point. And, I do remember him saying, I believe it was, last year, that this has been the, hardest few months of his life. So, at this moment, it's not going to get any better for him and the rest of his career, I don't think. I don't think they're going to bring anyone in. I don't think they're going to win anything. And, it could be even worse for him. So, and also, their striker problem, Mario Balotelli out after a stupid tweet, that could easily been avoided. We all said this was going to happen when he came in. Yeah. They could have done with a striker out there, even if it wasn't a scoring striker, just the presence of a striker. Barini comes on, it's his chance, he gets a red card. Lambert comes on, but we all know Lambert's not going to do anything. He's Lambert. And now they're talking about potentially bringing in Fernando Torres. It's really becoming a mess at the moment.
Can I just bring up that point? Can I just get your thoughts on the Barini red card? Do you think they're both yellow cards?
Personally, I wouldn't have been surprised to see him get a straight red.
Yeah.
But I can understand why the referee did, because he probably just didn't want a straight red and him being banned, because he might not have been sure. He might have thought that Cazorla made a lot of it. But, I felt that it probably did deserve a straight red, because, it's a high boot, And also, he wasn't exactly very apologetic after.
No.
And I'm not sure if this is true, rumoured that he spat at the Arsenal bench after.
Oh, God, yeah, I've not heard that.
It's said to be. I don't know if it's true or not, so I'm not going to say he did or didn't.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Allegedly, he did. But, yeah, so it wasn't a great day for him either. And also...
sorry.
No, go ahead.
What do you think of the refs? Do you agree with the thing that you should get a yellow for dissent when he threw the ball down? Do you think that should actually be a yellow card?
I don't think it should, but it's in the rules that it is, so you got to. So, don't. There's no bother having these rules if you're not going to enforce them, and that's what annoys me with the referees, that they have all these rules, but they don't enforce them until it's really serious. If you have a rule, enforce it. But no, I don't think that taking your shirt off should be a yellow card, or I don't think celebrating with fans should be a yellow card, because you're just showing passion. But throwing a ball to a ground, it isn't affecting the other team. The other team's not going to be like, I'm morally hurt after this, it might affect my game. It's just showing anger. And okay, we don't want to see angry players, but then it's part of the game. You've got to expect these things. And we look at the FA, and the FA don't seem to know a lot about football at the moment. They seem to be just palming everything off as, ban him for this, ban him for that. The Balotelli thing, was it really need to be a ban for that? It's got nothing to do with football.
Well, yeah, exactly. But I agree with your point about the FA. It just seems like it's that thing where the hierarchy are just thinking, we're just going to start banning people for anything now. Yeah,
and also with the Balotelli thing, it was a rude tweet, and he should have, as a person of higher how can I put this, a role model to other people. He knows that people are going to be seeing that, and he knows that it's not going to get a good reception. Well, I would like to think he knows. Why would you even tweet it? That the FA is going to come down hard on you, and especially he obviously feels like there's a vendetta against him. So why would you give him the opportunity to? It seems like a really silly thing to do.
But yeah, you just have to look at his own followers and just think, well, maybe if I retweet this, somebody might take offence to it. So therefore, I'll take the right stance and not do it.
Yeah, exactly. And also, we spoke about this on the chat show with Richard, but this could have potentially been Brendan Rodgers' last match as Liverpool manager. If Skirtle wouldn't have scored that goal, do you think that would have been the case?
No, just because I think they think he can do well in the Capital One Cup, I think. I think he's bought himself time with that win against Bournemouth.
Also, I feel that I don't think they would get rid of him until Sturridge comes back. I think if Sturridge comes back and he's misfiring, I think then he will get the sack. But then by the time Sturridge comes back, if he comes back this season, because, it doesn't seem good, like he seems to be coming back and getting injured instantly. But if Sturridge does come back and he is fit and he's misfiring, then I don't think they'll have a choice. I think they've got to. But will it be the time that is completely pointless to sack him? Will they get someone by that time? They might as well keep him till the end of the year. But then we know what owners are like.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, you can't tell what owners are going to do. And it's like the fact that I think Brendan Rodgers has a lot of legs to stand on because of the competitions he's in. I mean, he could still finish fourth. He could win the Capital One Cup, and he's in the Europa League. So it doesn't.
And also the big thing about the Europa League now, if you win it, you're in the Champions League.
Exactly.
That's a big positive, and also it's a bit of silverware as well. To finish off a bad season, that's kind of one of the best things you can get.
But in all fairness, on the Capital One Cup as well, don't forget Kenny Dalglish won that, and they still sacked him.
Yeah, but also I feel like with Kenny Dalglish, it was playing a bit backwards football. It wasn't really modern era. But as an Arsenal fan, your positives from this match?
Positives: didn't play well and got a point. That's why I went to Anfield and actually managed to get a point. So I don't see why. That is for me is a perfect positive because that didn't happen this time last year. That's
true. And also, do you feel that with your full team back, this could have been a different result? If you take out Debussy, you put him right back, Koscielny in there. You have Ramsey, Walcott. It could have been a different result.
100%. Yeah, Arsenal probably win that with Koscielny because Koscielny would not stand for that defending that was there on Sunday.
And obviously, we're gonna be doing a show on Boxing Day, not Boxing Day, the day after Boxing Day.
It'll be the 27th.
Yeah, chat show of where we'll talk about the year in football. But who do you think Arsenal will bring in for maybe the new year to sort of resolve these issues?
Oh God, I mean it's a tough one. I mean, there's the I do apologise, I can't remember his name. The centre back from Ipswich sounds like that's probably the most likely one to happen.
I don't know who he is either.
I do apologise.
No, that's fine, mate.
But he's been heavily linked with Arsenal, and apparently that's the one that's going to be happening. He's a centre back for Ipswich. In case you want to research him for me,
that does sound like an Arsene Wenger buy, to be honest.
Exactly.
But no, right, we'll end the show here. But thank you for watching. If you have any suggestions for the show, let us know in the comments. Tweet us your opinions and stuff like that. Your opinions of the match, if you felt we were right or you have different opinions than us, let us know. Want to say Merry Christmas to all the fans out there and thank you.
Yeah, happy holidays, guys. Thanks for watching.